Hello guys, I am Nubed. Welcome to Learn the Concept. Today we'll learn class 6 chapter number 9 part 2. So in previous lecture part 1 we read till here, so we'll start from here the part 2 sessions. So let's start. The presence of specific features or certain habits which enable an organism to live naturally in a place is called adaptation. Adaptation of organism different depending on their place of dwelling. That is why a fish cannot live out of water and a camel cannot live in sea. The place where organisms live is called habitat. Habitat means a dwelling home, like a home, a dwelling place like a home. The habitat provides food, water, air, shelter, and other needs to organisms. Several kinds of plants and animals live in the same habitat. The plants and animals that live on land are said to live in terrestrial habitats. Some examples of terrestrial habitats are forests, grasslands, deserts, coastal and mountain regions. On the other hand, the habitats of plants and animals that live in water are called aquatic habitats. Lakes, rivers, and ocean are some examples of aquatic habitats. There are large variation among terrestrial habitats like forest, grasslands, deserts, coastals, and mountain region located in different parts of the world. The organisms, both plant and by animals living in a habitat, are its biotic components. The non-living things such as rocks, soil, air, and water in the habitat constitute its abiotic components. Are sunlight and heat biotic or abiotic components? We know that some plants grow from seeds. Let us look at some abiotic factors and their effects on seeds as they grow into young plants. Activity 2. Recall activity 5 in chapter 1. We made sprouts from moong and chana seeds. When the seed turned into a sprout, it is said to have germinated. This is the beginning of life of new plant. Collect some dry moong seeds, keep 20-30 seeds aside and soak the rest in water for a day. Divide the soaked seeds into 4 parts. Keep one part completely submerged in water for 3-4 days. Do not disturb the dry seeds and those submerged in water. Keep one part of soaked seed in a sunny room and another in a completely dark region like a cupboard that does not allow any light to come in. Keep the last part in very cold surrounding, say in a refrigerator or with ice around them. Rinse them and replace the water every day. What do you notice after a few days? Do the seeds in all of the 5 conditions germinate in uniformly? Do you find slower or no germination in any of these? Do you realize that abiotic factors like air, water, light, and heat are important for the growth of plants? In fact, abiotic factors are important for all living organisms. We find that organisms exist in very cold as well as very hot climates, isn't it? How do they manage to survive? Adaptation is the method by which organisms get well adjusted to the climate. Adaptation does not take place in a short time because the abiotic factors of a region also change very slowly. Those organisms which cannot adapt to these changes die, and only the adapted ones survive. Organisms adapt to different abiotic factors in different ways. These results in a wide variety of organisms in different habitats. Let us look at some habitats understood understood the abiotic factors and the adaptations of animals in these habitats. A journey through different habitats, some terrestrial habitats, desert. So they are talking about not deserts. Let's see what it is. We discuss the abiotic factors of a desert and the adaptation in camels. What about other animals and plants that are found in deserts? Do they have the same kind of adaptation? There are desert animals like rats and snakes which do not have long legs that camel has. To stay away from the intense heat during the day, they stay in burrows deep in the sand. Sorry. These animals come out only during the night when it is cooler. Figure 9.5, you can see here, shows some typical plants that grows in a desert. These are the plants which grow in desert, as you can see here, 9.5. How are these adapted to the desert? Okay. How they are adapted to desert? Leave the potted plants in the sun and observe after a few hours. What do you see? Do you notice any difference in the amount of water collected in the two polythene bags? Desert plants lose very little water through transpiration. The leaves in desert plants are either absent every small or they are in form of spines. This helps in reducing loss of water. The leaves through transpiration, the leaf-like structure you see in a cactus is in fact its stem. Figure 9.5. You can see this is stem. Photosynthesis in these plants is usually carried out by the stems. The stem is also covered with a thick waxy layer which helps to retain water in the tissues of cacti. I think cacti is known as cactus, okay? More desert plants have roots that go very deep into the soil for absorbing water. Mountain region. Now they are talking about mountain region. These habitats are normally very cold and windy. In some areas, snowfall may take place in winters. There is a large variety of plants and animals living in the mountain regions. Have you seen the kind of trees shown in figures 9.6? I did not see it. 9.6 here. You can see here trees of mountain habitat. It is in cone shape. Okay, so we are here. If you live in mountain region or have visited one, you may have seen a large number of such trees. But have you ever noticed such trees naturally growing in other regions? How are these trees adapted to the condition prevailing in their habitat? These trees are normally cone shaped and have sloping branches. The leaves of some of these trees are needle-like. They are needle-like. This helps the rainwater and snow to slide off easily, and could be trees with shapes very different from these that are also present on mountains. They may have all different kind of adaptation to survive on the mountains. Animals living in mountain regions are also adapted to the condition there. Figure point 9.7. So you can see here they have a thick skin or fur to protect them from cold. For example, yaks have long hair to keep them warm. Snow leopard has thick fur on its body. You can see here the leopard. This is snow leopard. His skin is very furry. including feet and toes. This protects its feet from the cold when it walks on the snow. The mountain goat has strong hooves for running up the rocky slopes of the mountains. As we go up in mountain regions, the surrounding change and we see different kinds of adaptations at different heights. Grasslands. Now talking about grasslands. A lion lives in a forest or a grassland and is a strong animal that can hunt and kill animals like deer. It is light brown in color. Look at the picture of a lion and that of a deer. Figure 9.8. So you can see here 9.8. This is lion and deer. How are the eyes placed in the face or these two animals? Are they in different or on the side of face? So they are talking about now of eyes of the deer and lion. So lion has eyes in front and deer has in sides. So let us find why. Are they in front or on the side of the face? Lions have long claws in their front legs that can be withdrawn inside the toes. Do the features of the lion help it in any way to survive? Its light brown color help it to hide in dry grasslands when it hunts for prey animals to eat. The eyes in front of the face allow it to have a correct idea about the location of its prey.